Hello and welcome back to the channel. Going to continue on again then here in part 6, I think it is now, of the conversion of the potato washer from 17 to 19. Messing around with the XMLs at the moment, trying to work out all the parts, join everything together. Now, because of the way the pallets, or at least the way that I understand the pallets work so far, I know that there is a function within the global company for extended pallets, but I haven't quite figured out how those parts are all joined together as yet. So I'm actually going to do something a little different. I'm going to work with dynamic heaps, the same way that the manure is spawned for the cow husbandry in the manure trough thingy, the manure bunker, whatever you want to call it, and whatever else. So that's the kind of the plan at the moment. So you can see here for our triggers, our output triggers here, we have a loading trigger. Well, this would be like from your silo, for example, where you would get like your wheat, barley, and so on. And that's not really going to work for me. I don't want to really have it where I drive underneath the actual so many windows open. I don't want to have it where I drive underneath the actual belt system here, and then have like, you know, because this is too low. I think you would have to have a very low trailer to be able to get underneath that to actually have it come off of here. So the idea would be to have a kind of dynamic heap setup where I set up a series of nodes, and then the actual pile is formed in this area kind of thing here, and it will work like with the tip on ground system. It's going to take a little bit more, I think, a bit more involved when it comes to how that's all going to work, and it may not even work. Again, like all of this is like my first run through on global company sort of stuff, converting stuff and whatever else, and getting my head around all the XMLs and whatever else. So might not work very well, it might not work at all. Don't know yet. We're just going to have to see where we end up with it. And also, because it's going to be using the tip on ground system, there could be some issues if your map that you potentially would want to build this for already has a lot of tip on ground products. There is a limit on how many you can have. I don't know what the actual limit is. So, you know, if you're going to add yet another one into it, it might cause you some problems. You'll run out of the amount of tip on ground products you can have, and then the way I'm going to set this up, because I'm going to have the washed potatoes as a tip on ground and also the compost as well. Now the compost is going to be a little bit different, because the way I would set up any map that has compost in it, I would want to use the compost as a product that I could spread on the fields to actually fertilize the fields. So that would potentially only work if I set it up with a tip on ground. So that would be a primary sort of thing for me to have that set up as tip on ground. The washed potato side of things, maybe not so much. Could do it differently with a moving plane, like I said before, I think, where I actually have a moving plane come up through the ground. But I would like to be able to set it up where it uses the dynamic heap system, or interactive heap, or whatever you want to call it, so that it kind of creates its own method of how it puts it on the ground, and then I could just come in with a wheel loader, shovel loader, whatever else, and pick it up that way. But again, I'm not kind of sure really where this is going to end up. Just going to continue going forward, and then if I don't like it, things can be changed later on. So we'll just go with that for now and see where we end up. So for the outputs themselves, we already have a heap here for the compost. So theoretically, again, like I said, I could go with that and just keep it as it is. But again, I'm not sure on that. I would prefer to actually have it where it works with the dynamic heap system. So not too sure. Might change some stuff there. And we also have obviously the what was originally the palette spawner, but again, that's not really how I want to do this. So I'm probably going to change that as well. So I think what I would like to do here is maybe get rid of all of that, because that's not really going to be of any relevance to me. And the other thing I want to look at as well is, because this is a conversion, it has a lot of user attributes in here which are going to be irrelevant. So I need to make sure you need to make sure that all of these are deleted before you go any further, because there's going to be loads of them to do with all of the way it worked for the Fabric script and M-Company script and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be loads of different user attributes which are no longer, as I say, going to be relevant. So just make sure you go through and get rid of all of those, because they will conflict with the way that it's going to work in the XML potentially, and we don't want that. So let's get rid of all of those and do the same for this one as well. Make sure there's none on any of that. Okay. So let's get rid of all of those. I'm going to delete all of that. I don't want any of that. And then this one here, we'll get rid of those as well. All of those user attributes. I think again what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of that as well, and then we'll actually create a different setup here. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to create a new transform group, and I'm going to cut and paste that, put it into there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that twice, and then I'm going to take both of those and put them into that one, like so. So this will be what happened there? Did it get rid of one for some reason? Don't know. Let's duplicate that again anyway. Don't know what happened there. Oh, there it is. Weird. Don't know what happened there. Never mind. Whatever. So what we'll do then is start with height. So what I'm going to do then is, if I go create primitives plane, let's move this back to here, something like that. Maybe something like that. And what I don't want them to do is actually start to build up inside of the potato washer, so I need to keep it back a bit from there. So let's go a little bit bigger, then maybe something like that. Perhaps that could possibly work. Again, we'll just have to test it out and see how that works. So let's get rid of that for now. So let's go 5 by 6.5, something like that. And then if I do this one, this is going to be minus 2.5, and then minus 3. I don't know. What have we got? Minus 2.5. So this one would be minus 3.25. Let's do that. And then this one is going to be 5, and our height is going to be 6.5. So if that's right, we should have start width, height, and that will then make our dynamic heap layout, hopefully, for that side of things. And then what I also need to do is create a trigger. So we'll go create primitives cube, and if I cut that, put that into there. And then we'll make this a bit bigger. Something like that for now. Rigid body, trigger, non-renderable, distance blending. And that is going to be, we'll just call it trigger for now, that'll be okay. Trigger. This is our vehicle interaction trigger, so we need that to be in there. So hopefully that should be okay. And then, so we'll do freeze, scale, put those back to 1, 1, and 1. That should be fine. Now what we'll do is, we'll do the same again over here. So if I take this and put it over here, for our compost, so we want that to be somewhere maybe like that. Something like that perhaps. Okay, so what have we got? 5 and 3.5. We'll see what happens with that. So we'll go create transform group, cut, paste, duplicate twice, take those, cut, and paste. So again, this is going to be start, oops, width, and height. So I have to eyeball this one a little bit, I think. What have we got? .2 and minus 2.5, maybe something like that will do. And this one will be and then this one, something like that. 5, something like that. So start width, height, that should be okay. But again, we'll try that out and see how that works. There's so much to do yet. Anyway, this is not going to be done by any means, like, you know, the next 5 minutes, I guarantee it. So we'll go create primitives, cube, and we'll put that into there, like so. And we want to scale this up a little bit. Something like that. Rigid body, trigger, non-renderable, distance blending. And again, we'll just call that trigger for now. We might have to change some names there anyway, but we'll come back to that later. So that should be our 2 outputs. So we'll get rid of the plane and we'll see what happens there. We'll go ahead and save. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is outputs, compost. So register loading triggers. Well, okay. So now I need to look at another piece of text, which I've got somewhere here, or dynamic heaps. So if I actually open that in Notepad++, and take all of that, and let's put that into here. So output methods, we want from there to there. Oh dear. Well, let's see what that does. Output product, output method. So let's copy that, put that into there. Okay, so Hopefully we can get somewhere with that. So hopefully this is right. So let's take that. We'll take that. And that. That would be for our wrong one. Typical, isn't it? Never mind. Okay, so let's take that line and put it there then, because I've put it in the wrong place. I put the compost one in the potato one, the washed potato one. That's okay. So let's take this one then. Take that. Put that into there. I'm just copying and pasting these so I don't get them wrong. I could just type them in manually, but I prefer to copy and paste where possible, just so that I get everything spelt right and you know, all the digits are where they're meant to be in the right places and everything else. So I'll copy that one and put that one into there. Okay, so we've got or at least we should hopefully have our nodes set up correctly for our dynamic heap, so that should be okay. So if we go back to here again, let's just save this again, make sure that we don't lose any of the changes we've made so far. And then we need to put in our production lines. So inputs, what happened there? Okay, so production line. Yeah. Okay, so just to output pro, let's create a couple of lines. Let's go from here down to here. Copy that and paste. I'm going to change a lot in here anyway, so we don't need to. So production line output, that's fine. We've only got one production line, so we don't need to have all of that stuff. What we'll do then is if I take that from there, put that into there, so we've got global company placeable, potato washer grimmy, product line, whatever, and we want it to show up in the thingy there. So let's get rid of that. We don't want that. Input product. So not sure on that. Let's okay. So product. Right, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Let's get rid of those. And we want to that to there. Goes. Let's copy that one, and that one. So we will have input water. Take that one there and put fuel. Paste. Output product. Wash potato. And compost. So water. I do 10, 20, compost 20. Because we don't want it to burn through fuel like it's gone out of fashion. We want it to go through potatoes quite quickly, but not the water and the fuel. So we're going to try and experiment here with different percentages and just see how we can get around, how we can work with that. Again, we want a good output of washed potatoes, but not like masses and masses of compost. So again, it's trying to work with the percentages to get what we want out of this. And this is where it's somewhat important to have your capacities match exactly or as close as you can, because it will be 20% of the capacity. So if your capacity of one of these is not the same as the others, potentially you'll get out of whack because it will be 20% of 200, not, and so your washed potatoes will be 100% of 200,000, but your compost will be 20% of 200 or something like that. So it gets a little bit, you have to work with the percentages and the figures and the numbers and the capacity. So try and keep the capacities the same across the board so that all the percentages work out correctly. Otherwise, it will get really complicated, because if it's 20% of 200, it will create a lot more compost than you want it to, if that makes sense. I think that's trying to get my head around the numbers, but it will use more than it's meant to use or you want it to use, because the percentages won't match up. So you have to be a little bit careful with how those things are structured. So just bear that in mind. And we're up to half an hour again, so this is end of part 6. In part 7 we'll just continue on going through the XML gear, joining all the parts together, and then hopefully we'll get somewhere. Don't know where we're going to get, but we'll hopefully get somewhere. I'm ShyWizard. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.